This is Jeff the Pharaoh. The question in the Oppenheimer film, not Offenhauser. They made some great engine parts for racing cars, but this is Oppenheimer. 2020 hindsight, I'm reading a lot of, was the atomic bomb justified, bigwig? Yes, it was. We dropped that bad boy twice. Was getting ready to drop a third one. So, you got all the revisionists and all the crybabies out in force. And they're saying, was it justified? Well, let's think about it for a second. After Pearl Harbor, the Americans wanted to stomp the hell out of the Japanese. The Japanese has been educated, brainwashed, believing that the white man is the devil. Their leaders train their soldiers and their Navy men and all that stuff in the fine art of bullshit Shido, taking prisoners. You lose all your rights, no matter how gallantly you fought. Know about their atrocities, which of course Hirohito okayed against the Aussies, New Zealanders. So they believe that the white man should be wiped out. So, because they're bitching about, they're not giving us oil, they're not giving us steel because we're doing a war of extermination. They don't call it that in China. So, they get pissed off and they decide they're going to invade the Philippines and all the other good shit and capture all the oil fields and bomb Pearl Harbor. So, my Uncle Benny saw the previous video. Actually, my Uncle Benny is actually a Marine. I got him mixed up with Uncle Michael and Uncle Arthur, who fought the Germans. This is what happens when you're 60 years old. So anyway, was the bombs justified? The answer is yes. Because the 40th Infantry Division, that had 4 campaigns under its belt, National Guard Division, was in the Pacific at full strength. And they're going to invade Japan proper because Japan refuses to surrender. They already have Okinawa, Iwo Jima. They're already doing fire bombs. They're dropping a shit ton of bombs. And they said, well, we're going to keep fighting. And they said, if you pricks want to try it, we're waiting. So the Japanese military started having everybody trained. Everything from schoolgirls, not the anime schoolgirls with the Sailor Moon outfits and stuff. We're talking about schoolgirls, schoolboys, lunging with bamboo spears, high school kids that are joining little ROTC or junior ROTC units. Everybody was getting trained up for the invasion. Everybody was going to fight. Everybody. Old women, old people, the whole 9 yards. They had everything ready to go. They were going to mine all the beaches with mines. Then they're going to put suicide frogmen in the water with bamboo lunge mines to lunge the mines into the hulls of the landing ships. They had over 2,000 aircraft in reserve out of the range of B-29s they were going to use for kamikazes. They even had old biplanes from the 1920s, back seats were filled with gasoline cans, filled with gasoline and dynamite. Just fly it into the carriers, fly it into the battleships. So these guys, they had all these brand new prototype tanks out there. They were getting ready to rock, and they were going to resist. They were going to resist no matter what. Everybody is going to die for the emperor and for Japan. So, if we would have invaded, the American soldiers, the sailors, the Marines, and the bombers, god dang, where did I get happened to my eyes? Wow. They would have just kept bombing. We would have hit the beaches, and they would have been casualties. And I'm guarantee you that Americans would have lost a lot of guys, lost a lot of people in the first 3 or 4 days of the invasion. A lot of people. And naturally, Americans are going to be highly motivated and highly pissed. So anybody that looked like a threat, they were going to get shot. May it be Grandma Yoko or 10-year-old grandson Yoki, they're going to get bullets put into their bodies because they're going to have bomb vests, they're going to have bamboo spears, they're going to have hand grenades. You would have to go to house, block to block, town to town, and kill everybody in it. You would have to do that. And what made it worse, the Russians, if they would have landed on the top of Japan, that's all she wrote. That's it. And those guys, they don't give a flying about anything. They would have killed and raped everything all the way down into Tokyo if it was possible. So you would have been screwed. And then the Chinese get in on the act, get on some boats, come across. It would have been mayhem. And the Japanese society would come to an end as we know it. They would have invaded the Imperial Palace, the Americans, or the Russians. If the Russians got there, it would be definitely adios amigos. We would have got Hirohito's family, and that guy more than likely will get a rope around his neck. More than likely. MacArthur would not be able to stop this steamroller because there'd be groups of Americans killing everybody for revenge. And if they would have found the POWs, the Japanese immediately would have killed all the POWs as soon as the invasion started. I would guarantee you. So, if Japan fails to exist, we would not have Sony television sets. We would not have PlayStation. We wouldn't have Toyota cars that are driving on batteries. We wouldn't have iPhones. We wouldn't have any of that bullshit. Because Japan would be nothing but a backwards farming community. We would have not rebuilt. We wouldn't have done shit. Because it would take at least another year to 2 years to completely wipe Japan off the face of the map. We would have made it into our own providence. We would have called it something. Like Mississippi, Japan, Japanova, Japanifornia. We would have made it into an estate. So instead of them losing a few 100,000 people, which sucks, or would you rather lose millions upon millions in the fighting that would have happened in the invasion? So with you liberals and hindsighters and revisionists, wake up and smell the sake. Because if we did not drop the atomic bomb, Japan would have ceased to exist after an invasion. That's just reality. So, do not like, do not subscribe, because I'm not plugging anything. I'm not going to plug a commercial. I'm not going to plug in jack shit. I'm not going to plug in re-elect Trump. All that other bullshit, I'm not doing that. So, this is Jeff the Pharaoh signing off on 2020 hindsight. Should we drop the bomb? Hua.